Yo, quick devlog, little video here. Working on a mod with Josh. Not going to explain everything, but basically we're trying to have sort of a new game plus type feel to it. So you see there's no power cell here. All the scout flies are gone. If I go to Mountain Pass, for instance, Claw is already going to be dead. If I go to the race is already completed. No nee cutscene. No power cell here. Whoops. So one issue I ran into and what this devlog is about is getting the gondola to work. Because the way we've kind of created this new game plus feel is we've closed all the tasks behind the power cells, but we didn't actually give Jack any power cells. So you'll see my count there next to the square button still says 0 power cells, or if I look at it on the HUD here, I don't actually have any power cells even though they're all marked complete. And I kind of know this from doing some speedruns of the game and stuff, and just looking at the code, but this gondola here cares about how many power cells you've collected, either in total or since you pushed the button in the hut here, I believe is the logic. I'll try to find this in the code here in a bit. But yeah, because we haven't actually received any power cells, we just have been given credit for the tasks kind of behind them. This gondola doesn't want to work, so you can't go to Snowy. So we're going to try to fix that. So the first thing, I'll probably do in a situation like this is figure out what is the actor here that has some code that, evaluates the situation, the state of the game, and decides where to go. So I like to turn on actor marks here. In Jack 1, I usually use process because it'll also show you the state that the actors are in. So there's a particle actor here and it's active right now, part spawner active. So it looks like we're probably looking at Gondola 1 here, and it's in an idle state right now. So it's just called Gondola. It should be pretty easy to find in the code. So let's just search for, I was searching for Gondola earlier, but let's search for def type Gondola. And it's a process drawable, that sounds right. And we want to try to find the code that's going to get it out of the idle state. So if we look at, here's the idle state for Gondola. This is the code. We have some conditions here. Looks like this is prepping the animation to be played, if you do push the, if you are eligible and you push the button. So depending on which animation you're, or this arc0, I guess, one's going to be riding down, one's going to be riding up, but it's going to set that animation up ahead of time. Right, okay, so that just happens once at the beginning of the idle code, and then this is the loop that potentially can run across multiple frames. Oh yeah, there was some bug that got fixed here. This is some sort of vector distance between our main node of the gondola and target position, that's Jack. So it looks like this is checking that we're, within this distance. It's not really, yeah. We're not in a movie, there's no level hint. So that would be something like, where it shows a volcanic crater at the bottom of the screen. Excuse me. And this is basically saying the gondola self here, because we're in a def state for the gondola, that we've been in the current state idle for 3 seconds. So so the idea is like, presumably when you come down or go up in the gondola, in the first 3 seconds, you wouldn't want to accidentally push the button and go right back down, something like that. Okay, and then it looks like this is just making sure that the animation is loaded, essentially. Excuse me. This is checking the village 3 button. Get reminder. So I think this is trying to figure out what state the village 3 button game task is in, if I remember correctly. I don't remember what this 2 is. I'm not going to worry too much about that just yet. Yeah, there's a cheat mode or debug mode where you can hold L3 and it'll just let you use the gondola right away. So where is this condition used? Oh, I see. So yeah, if you're holding L3, that is equivalent to having pushed the button. Oh no, it is used again here. Never mind. So it is for both the button and the cell count check here. Right. Okay, this is what it is. So this S30 here, this get reminder, what they do is they actually store an integer in this game task data that is the number of cells that you have when you push the button and you progress this game task. And what this condition here is saying is that the number of fuel cells you have now, number of power cells you have now, is less than, it's evaluating, you know, is the number of power cells we have now less than that number that was stored in the task, so the number of cells we had when we pushed the button plus 2. So in other words, have we collected, just trying to remember if it's off by 1 here, 2 or 3 more. I think we need to actually collect 3 more, it sounds like, right? If we had 5, we now need to have 8 to pass this, or to not go into this. What this condition is going to give us a hint that says, like, collect some more power cells. Yeah, gondola needs cells. So Kira sent us some message that's like, collect power cells and I'll fix the gondola. And you need to collect more than 2, basically. And then this other condition is that, so this is some Boolean logic. So it's anding. In other words, if you could break this or break this, you would get out of this or this. You would avoid this condition and you would go into this else condition. So this condition is like, oh, you didn't collect, you collected 2 or fewer power cells since you pushed the button. This one is, oh, you have less than 71 cells. So if you had 71, you would break out of this. Oh, actually, so you only need 2 more. Right, that's what it is. So if you had 2 more, you would not satisfy this condition and you would do this. Okay. So it's either 2 cells or you have 71 or more cells. Yeah, or this S41, which is that you were holding L3 and you're in cheat mode. So if you managed to not break any of those 3 conditions, that's when you get the need more cells. Okay, so this is where we got to fix this. We want to, let's see. I think right now our village 3 button is closed. I can evaluate this in the REPL. Am I connected? No, I'm not. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to put there. I forgot to copy. Yeah. Right, true. So we're not getting into this condition. We are getting into this condition. So I guess I must have come here earlier and already played this hint and I didn't realize it or something. Because we have 0 power cells. So 0 is less than 71. So we're going to satisfy this. I wasn't holding L3. And presumably this number is 0 because when I close the task, I guess that's something we could check here as well. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can just write some custom conditions to work around this, but I am curious. It's 1. Is this an integer? What is this? Yeah, it is an integer, I think. It's interesting that that's 1. So you would actually need... Yeah, you would have to collect 3 power cells in this case. Huh. It's odd. Anyways, it doesn't really matter because we can just change all these conditions and and always have it go into this case, which is that you do have enough cells. So yeah, so I mean that's essentially what I want to do for this. For the purpose of this mod, there's no case where I want to show the gondola needs cells or give the gondola need cells play hint. So we'll just turn that off. Oh, I have play hints off. That's why I didn't hear this. So it does still go into this code. It just won't actually play the hint, but it does avoid going into this code. Anyways, so yeah, so I just comment out this whole case and the code that would happen, you know, if that case was true. And so I could comment out this one as well. It doesn't really matter because I do have some other code that's already closing all the tasks. I could leave this here or not. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of this mod. Yeah, so I think that should be all I need to do. I'm just going to save here. I could also comment this out. I don't actually need S3 anymore, I'm assuming. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm using it. So I could, you know, do something like that to save a little bit. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to leave that in for now. Yeah, so let's build. Okay, so I can't use MNG because this code is in Village 3 level. So I do need to actually MI. I need to do a full build. Well, not a full build, but a proper build, not just the engine. All right, let's reboot the game. Give my OBS a second. Okay. Turn this down a little bit. Let's go to Village 3, far side. Boom, just like that. We have a working gondola. Cool. Let's just make sure that we can take this thing back down. I think we should be able to. I don't, yeah, I'm pretty sure the code we were looking at is idle. It doesn't care which side we're on, right? Do we do anything with arg0 here? Just decides whether we ride up or ride down. But I think once we've reached the end of that, we go back to idle, and then it just passes arg0 back in. Yeah, so it shouldn't matter. Yeah, and you can see we've already got a press circle to use again. Cool. Looks like these guys don't respect their task status either. So that's another one to fix. But yeah, looks like we can ride this back down. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if that is helpful for anyone trying to make mods or anything, but I just figured I would record one of these to kind of go through my process of, you know, trying to figure out something like this. This was, I assumed it was going to be a pretty easy one. Like I said, I was already kind of familiar with how the gondola requirements worked, but I wanted to try to kind of go through it step by step and find it in the code. And yeah, anyways, let me know if you guys like this or whatever.